We are back here with an interview. We have a very special guest. Actually, introduce yourself. Let them know. They know, but you go.
Hi, I'm James Goddard, also known as D. James Goddard. I'm currently the head of Killer Instinct over at Xbox Game Studios. And once upon a time, I worked at Capcom and I was a Street Fighter designer. And this, if you can turn it around,
Oh, yeah,
I had to say hi to him because this is one of the games editions I pitched. And so I had to stop and say, I love this jacket. Where'd you get it? And now we're talking. I just love fighting games, and I've been doing it a long time, and it's just nice to talk to fans and people who love the games.
I love. First of all, I can't love. So you mentioned KI. I love KI that much. I remember when I was a kid going to the arcade and it being like the loudest game.
Oh yeah.
And at the time I was playing Street Fighter at the time, and then running out quarters. And I remember being a crowd of people. And I was like, what is that noise? And that's what it was. Ultra was the noise that made me walk over there.
Yeah, that game was amazing, right? That team and Ken Lobb, who's still at Microsoft, he was at, obviously Nintendo and Rare at the time. They're the ones who made those classic KIs happen. And then we were lucky enough to get the other one going in 2013. It's still going. We're here at the tournament right now, with 10,000 pot bonus for the top 8.
Oh man! After all these years,
it's still going. Yeah, KI Anniversary Edition came out, but
So, as far as Evo goes,
yeah.
like, what is your favorite part of Evo? Like, what do you like when you come and doing here and everything like that?
I mean, I love watching. Of course, I love watching the finals, and like way back, So I ran some of the first tournaments ever at Capcom. Like when we had arcade machines, we had to lug around and do it, and so. It was always amazing to be down for the best 2 out of 3, a bracket reset, the final game, the final round, on a counter pick that should just work, and someone climbs over that counter pick and wins. And so, like the nail biting intensity of all that, even back in those days, right?
Right.
Before we had the internet, before we had all the sharing of all the tech.
Right. You had to read in the magazine or something, or Game Informer or whatever.
Yeah, we had footsies and reads, and so like one of my favorites was we did a kind of a weird tournament, which was like a counter pick tournament. It was kind of like master the character, and so you would say, well, I think I can win with this character on this, like Blanca versus Honda. I think I can win both sides of that, and that was a tough fight in hyper fighting. Okay, so the Southern California crew from World's Finest, this is like Tomo Ohira and a bunch of those dudes, they come in with mastering both sides of the match, and here comes Honda that should be a shoe-in win, and Blanca's just going, the light kick.
Yeah, and it was like, of all the moves.
And he got ahead, then now what? And so, like, that kind of intensity is what I love when I watch finals, because you see all that come out, and everybody's like losing their mind.
And you'd be like, it's usually something you would never thought about, because there's all this different tech, and like you said, back then, there weren't no tips and tricks, there was no internet, no Facebook, no Instagram where to tell us, or people like, oh, look what I post on Twitter. You had a thing, you'd be in the room, and something happens by accident, and you're like, wait, how did I do that?
I'll tell you a quick story.
Go ahead.
I was out in Georgia, and instead of going out with all the salespeople, I'm like, I'm going to go find an arcade. This is like 1991 or 2, okay? And so I'm going to go find where a Street Fighter machine is, where they play. And I heard there was some competitive play way out somewhere I had to drive like 30 miles to, and it's like this bar. And I'm sitting down, there was a guy sitting down on a stool playing, and he's playing Honda. He's whooping everybody. And I'm like, this is amazing, right? But because there was no internet, there was no sharing of anything, he didn't know Zangief could do a walking pile driver. So I get up, and I'm not going to pretend like I'm a good player. Anybody who played me, y'all know I can't play that good. But if you don't know, it's like magic. So round starts, round 1, fight, right? It's 1 inch forward, slurp, and it was like boom.
The magnet hand.
SPD from forever reach. Boom, I perfect him. Now we're talking about like what kind of magic shit I'm doing.
Right.
And I'm realizing I'm about to get my ass kicked in Georgia in a bar somewhere.
We were just having fun.
And so we started talking. I started saying, no, we play tournaments here, and let me show you some stuff. And then so the knowledge gets shared. And so people used to go from city to city and do crazy stuff, and then the knowledge would get shared. And I'm kind of on a ramble here, but
no, go ahead.
I've told this story before, but I have to give props to the world's finest team from Southern California, because Charles Franco called me up, and he's like, and that was the guy who worked with Tomo, Tomo O'Hara, the famous Tomo O'Hara, and his whole crew. But Charles was like one of the first esports managers, if you think about it, before esports, before the internet.
You're right.
So he's like, hey, so I hear you guys are pretty good up there. I've got a bunch of guys that are really good here. We'd like to come play you. And have you seen the Guile 4 Fierce combo on Street Fighter 2? And I get crazy calls at Capcom all the time like this. And I'm like, 4 Fierce combo? You can't do 4 Fierces. This is before 2-in-1s, before cancels into specials were understood.
Right.
So he's describing it, and I'm like, I gotta see this. So these dudes drive up from Southern California. They play against Thomas Sasaki and a bunch of other of our best players in Northern California. And here comes Guile. Leaps a fireball, smack in the head, boom, sonic boom, backhand dizzy. And everybody's like, WTF? Like, what? And didn't understand what was happening. And so...
I'm so sorry. We're about to do
No, go ahead.
We actually need this whole area.
Oh, my bad. Hold on. Sorry. No, keep going. My bad. Sorry.
So anyway, so the sheer amount of astonishment of that happening is a great example of where Sunnyvale was one of the cutting edge places to play, and then it turns out we didn't know everything either. And so like after that, we're all trying to figure out how that worked. And the description was, we'll just jump in, hold back, kind of hit the fierce and move the stick forward. It just works. And then we all learned about, canceling, do one move into a second move fast. Right. So I called it a 2-in-1. It's way smarter to call it a cancel, honestly. And that's where suddenly new combos were born, and then it went everywhere. Everybody showed everybody how to do it before the internet. But then the BBS board started, and then that spread. So that kind of stuff, I'm nerding out here.
No, that's cool. I love this. No, go ahead.
But that is what I loved in the old days, and you still see it now when someone shows up with some stuff no one's ever seen before, and like, how'd they hide that? And that's part of what I love about finals. And my second favorite thing is just walking around and seeing all the stuff, talking to people, seeing someone with a jacket, like, hey man, like I don't want to be a weirdo and say like, hey, I worked on this, but I love this jacket.
No, how do
I learn more?
I caught me off guard because when you came up, I was like, when you started talking, like I feel like I know this guy, and then the photographic memory popped in from different, like I know him, and once you said, I was like, oh my god, this camera's being funny.
Yeah, it's all right. This thing is really cool. But yeah, no, I love looking at all the new hardware. All the leverless controllers are really wild. That's a new thing, I mean, it's not that new. Like everybody's going, really, where are you been?
It went from like building it to now you can just buy it.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I struggle with up, but I'm trying. It would help my hands. I like looking at all the new sticks. Paradise Arcade's over here, and I just look at all the different sticks they have. I just picked up one that felt like it was almost like magnet, like. You move it, it's like clunk, clunk down to the corners. I'm like, is this a Sumitsu stick? I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I may buy it. This thing looks crazy. So I just love that. I just love talking to all the fans. I love bumping into people I haven't seen for 20 or 30 years. Maybe get a grudge match and find out I still suck. Stuff like that. So
how you feel about this? Now that this is supposed to be considered the biggest EVO of all time now, and the biggest esports event right now.
Yeah.
Like how because you've probably been coming here for I don't know how many times at this point.
I've taken a bit of a break, but I've come here a bunch, yeah.
So like coming from then and now, like how does it feel like it's grown into blossomed to what this is
It's
now?
amazing because it was hard to even get tournaments supported back in the old days, It was hard to get to them. And then even when things got really popular, like I remember vividly going to Sunnyvale Golfland. It was like, I think it was Battle by the Bay 2 or 3, and Alex Valle versus, oh my God, I just drawing a blank. Is it John? It's John, yeah. Joe? John Choi, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, John. I just had an old man moment. John Choi, Alex Valle, Alpha 2, and it was like this crazy moment where it's like custom combo, that should have meant death, but Alex had buffered a Sagat, Tiger Knee or uppercut, and it was like, oh no! And he won. And so like, that was a big tournament. And for the cameras to rally that to Evo, and then Evo still for a long time it was big, but like you have all these other genres, first-person shooters, League of Legends, Dota, all those kind of games. They have just a different, different presence for esports. People kind of like there's just more people who play that. It seems like. But then last year, what did we have? 30,000 people here.
Right.
It was insane. That's where it's like, you know what? Fighting is back. It's always been around, but it's the real deal.
I think it just never had its moment.
No.
I mean, it has its moment now more than ever.
Yeah.
But like, I know like when Street Fighter 4 came out, like was that 2009 or whatever?
Yeah.
When that came back, I know that was a huge thing, and I think that was just like the seed to blow up everything else.
Yeah. And then I sat in that arena last year. It was in the Michelob Arena, I think, is what it was where the finals were last year.
Right.
And I don't know if it was 11,000 people. All I know is that the energy level, like there's been recordings of it. It does not do it justice. The hair stood up on the back of your neck. You're emotionally shaken up by it as every little surprise, the bass, of people's voices, the tenor, the screaming, the sheer cheering. Like that, I've never experienced anything like that. I've been to a lot of finals, but that was incredible. So, like, that's when I was like, yeah, fighting's amazing. You have to be such an athlete to be in any esports category, and people don't realize the sheer amount of practice people do. But to be able to see things even faster than a 60th of a second and react and predict and adjust based on what you thought was going to happen and what you now need to do, again, borderline fraud alert here. I don't play at that level, but I watch and I listen to the science.
It's respectable. It's a respect thing.
Yeah, it's like I just can't believe how good people are, and it's crazy what humans can do, and so fighting really brings out that fast, kind of competitive spirit, and and all the makers that are still making fighting games and they're like, hey, I just brought Anniversary Edition to market.
Which I just downloaded yesterday.
We moved everything over into modern services to keep it going. And I think all of us, I've been doing this a long time. I think all the people making professional fighting games, we do it because of you guys, because of the fans. And when we come to something like this, it is humbling, It's just amazing. But I like this just as much as the first time I saw 256 kids outside of Milpitas Golfland. I had a freaking microphone. I'm like, all right, no. I'm like, you have to toss a quarter to see who gets which side. You can't fight over who gets guile,
Right.
There's no guile handcuffs, that bug.
Right.
Disqualified if you do guile handcuffs, like, it was one of my favorite moments too, but like it's still going. Everybody's still doing their thing, and like I don't think it's ever going to end.
No, and I'm glad people like you and everyone else like hear us out as a community and understand like we love it and y'all give back and we try to give back to y'all. It's kind of like a melting pot of everything.
You take the characters that we make and you make them have their own stories, and that's great. I can't wait to see what happens over the course of this weekend with all the finals and just even all the surprise upsets. You never know what's going to happen at Evo.
That's what's up. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you in person in this interview. The fact you in a sense you hunting me down.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
awesome.
I'm like, I wanted to get a picture of your jacket. I want to figure out how to. I'm gonna go try and find it online. So it's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's rare or whatever.
Yeah, I saw, but I really enjoyed talking to you.
It was a pleasure talking to you.
I like your setup here.
Thank you so much.
Can't see the setup, but it's pretty fancy. It like follows and stuff. Yeah.
Have a great one. Enjoy Evo, by the way.
You too. Thanks.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you again.
All right.
Thank you.